So dosti means friendship and dost means friend. An earthquake devastated Turkey, and India, as it usually does, decided to help the people of Turkey through its Operation Dost, despite Turkey having a track record of betraying India multiple times. But what does the government of Turkey want to give India in return? Betrayal? Deceit? But Turkey should remember that India has the capability to trap or silence Turkey using its master strategy. So, according to multiple media reports, Turkey has raised the Kashmir issue once again, and Indians are feeling betrayed and frustrated. If the reports are true, and if Turkey really intends to drag the Kashmir issue, this is definitely not a small development. Not so long ago, the whole world had witnessed how India showed its kindness and generosity to Turkey by helping the country via its Operation Dost. Of course, if India has something like Operation Dost to help the innocent victims of earthquake in Turkey, it also has a sort of master strategy to neutralize the Turkish government's anti-India foreign policy. To understand the so-called master strategy, first let's understand something that you may have never heard of, and that is the anti-Pakistani trend in Turkey. As described by Dr. Yana Rocek, who is an expert on modern Turkey, despite the Turkish government's pro-Pakistani stance, the growing anti-refugee public campaigns triggered an unexpected anti-Pakistani trend in Turkey. Not only that, in Turkey, there have been social media campaigns against Pakistanis, accusing them of spreading crime, filming Turkish women, kidnapping tourists, and posing a security threat. Dr. Yana Rocek thinks that this anti-Pakistani sentiment in Turkey may play into the hands of New Delhi in the long run. Now, let's focus on the so-called master strategy, which is in relation to something known as the Abraham Accords. So, what is the Abraham Accords? Well, the Abraham Accords is a deal pushed by the administration of former President Donald Trump that normalized diplomatic relations between Israel and its Arab neighbors, Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates, in 2020. Here you can read the Abraham Accords Declaration. Pay attention to these words: peace among the three Abrahamic religions. And after the signing of the Abraham Accords peace agreement between the United Arab Emirates and Israel, more friendly atmosphere was observed in the region. And it must be pointed out that New Delhi had welcomed the accords, highlighting its support for mechanisms that offer peace and stability in the region. But how could it possibly impact relations between Turkey and India? Well, Dr. Yana Rocek explained that very well. In relation to the possibility of the combined forces of Israel, USA, UAE and India, Dr. Yana Rocek sensed that the extension of the Abraham Accords scope to India could upgrade the Abraham Accords into a new Quad. And according to him, Turkey probably would not want to be excluded from this broadened version of the Abraham Accords. Dr. Yana Rocek explains how in that scenario, Turkey would have no choice but to mend fences with the Abraham Accords countries and India. Turkey would not want to be excluded from the Western Quad initiative, and the expanding nature of the Abraham Accords will likely force Turkey to re-evaluate its ties with India and Pakistan. Dr. Yana Rocek anticipated that India's possible integration into the broadened Abraham Accords will inevitably push Turkey to normalize its relations with India to safeguard its reconciliation with the Abraham Accords countries. It was observed that right after signing the Abraham Accords, India's firm support for it could be seen when New Delhi's high-rank military officers began to conduct official visits to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the UAE. The master strategy can possibly lead to a situation which will require Ankara to refrain from verbal attacks against New Delhi on the Kashmir issue. Also, anger in Turkey against Pakistani immigrants is not going to help Pakistan either. According to Dr. Yana Rocek, Turkey has made radical foreign policy shifts before, and the future of Turkey-India relations could be bright. Of course, it can be suggested that in the long term, for Turkey's own well-being, it is important that it fixes its ties with India. Because of Turkey's misconduct, India was compelled to take measures to punish Ankara geopolitically and diplomatically, and if the Turkey situation remains unfixed, the emerging superpower, India, is only likely to make things more difficult for Turkey. For example, as described by Dr. Yana Rocek, India's Prime Minister even began to engage with Turkey's opponents like Cyprus, Greece and Armenia. Not only that, New Delhi conducted a naval military drill with Greece in the Mediterranean and signed a $40 million arms deal with Armenia to supply 4 Swati weapon locating radars. Indian officials also held Turkey responsible for funding anti-India activities and for supporting and financing radical organizations in India. Anyway, regarding the Abraham Accords, the absence of progress on the Palestinian front is likely to pose a challenge. In a recently published article on European Jewish press, it was reported that the Israeli intelligence and security expert Cooper Wasser is hopeful that Israel and the US can expand the Abraham Accords to both Saudi Arabia and Oman. Also, Robert Greenway and Asher Fredman of the Abraham Accords Peace Institute hope that the Abraham Accords will broaden to places in Africa, South Asia, and the broader Middle East. Of course, interests and situations can change dramatically in the world of geopolitics, and almost nothing can be guaranteed. But it is difficult to believe that India is not smelling a big geopolitical opportunity here and has no plan to fix the Turkey situation permanently. See you again.